This is it. It feels pretty strange to be leaving home and not have any idea when I'll be back.
After a chilly ride through snow-frosted hills, I arrived in Patagonia to an extremely warm welcome from a bunch of my good friends. We spent my last night in the United States swapping stories over a few too many drinks, and in the morning, a huge, delicious breakfast which made me late by about an hour and a half. It was totally worth it, though. They sent me off with smiling faces and help from the metal mariachi band to head south to the land of real mariachi bands. I didn't bother to record my border crossing this time, but it was almost easier than the last one. I used the westernmost crossing point in Nogales, which was basically abandoned. There was no one around to be seen. And since I already had my visa, I didn't even have to stop at the border. I didn't even have to stop until I was 21 kilometers into Mexico, so that I could get my import permit for the motorcycle.
We're at kilometer 21 south of Nogales. I've successfully imported myself and the motorcycle into Mexico.
I savored every moment of the long day of freeway driving south from Nogales to San Carlos, because I knew that this was the last taste of the Sonoran Desert I was going to get for a long time. In San Carlos, I met up with James and Tammy, who are starting an aquaponics greenhouse there. I learned a ton of cool stuff from them and got to see their current setup, while I helped them build their new one. Hey, look at all those pretty koi fish! To all my new friends in San Carlos, you made my short stay very memorable, and I hope I get to see you again soon.
I'm on my way out of San Carlos. I had a great first night and day here in Mexico. This is the first time I've seen the ocean since I've been here. It's pretty. I ended up staying here an extra night because my friend who lives in Obregon is stuck in Ensenada because the road back is closed due to heavy snow. So that's gonna make today an extra long day. I'm gonna try and drive all the way to just outside of Mazatlan. It'll take about 8 hours. It may be the longest distance and time that I've ever ridden in one day, so we'll see how that goes. I had to break out my rain gear a little bit earlier than expected. I ran into a storm between Obregon and San Carlos. Fortunately, the rain gear seems to work pretty good.
From Obregon south, the ride got pretty boring. There was nothing but miles and miles and miles of industrial farms as far as the eye could see. Pretty much the only excitement on the trip was the occasional toll booth that I would come across. Fortunately for me, motorcycles only pay half the tolls that cars do. I feel like it should be a quarter, but I'll settle for a half. That's still nice. I'd like to take this moment to apologize to everyone who stuck behind me in the toll booth line. It's not that I can't read the sign that says please have your toll ready, it's just that I can't let go of the handlebars to get my toll ready. So I have to wait until I stop at the booth. So sorry about that, guys.
I've just arrived at Dimas, outside of Mazatlan. It took me, about 8.5 hours to drive here from San Carlos, and I am exhausted.
Upon arriving at Gail's place, however, the exhaustion melted away. The view was enough to bring a dead man back to life. We took a walk down to the beach the next day to harvest some oysters, and on the way we encountered some wild jack beans, which we had grown at the native seed search farm this last summer, and I was really curious about. We also found some baby devil's claw that were no larger than a pecan, and the claws were more like little tiny horns, completely useless for grabbing onto anything. Hugo here taught us how to harvest oysters and eventually stab yourself in the hand with a very sharp knife. He's from the south of France and has a lot of experience with this sort of thing. Apparently the key to eating an oyster is to scrape its still living body off of its shell and then slurp it up like a giant booger. As unappealing as that sounds, it was actually pretty damn delicious. Also, apparently these tiny crabs are edible. To me it tasted just like a fish-flavored rock. It may be the first actual living thing that I've intentionally eaten, and I don't think I'm going back for seconds. On the way back, we found a good-sized lava tube full of a large amount of unspecified kind of bat. Picture's not great, but I was surprised that the GoPro picked up anything at all. It worked much better than previous cameras I've tried to film bats with. We returned home to a dinner of oysters and coconut and tacos with the side of this absolutely spectacular view. Add to that some kayaking and an island full of pelicans and you have a perfect recipe for me never wanting to leave here. But tomorrow's time to go. Time to head to the mountains.
What does the fox say? Actually, foxes are known to make a whole wide range of vocalizations, from barks and howls to grunts and blood-curdling screams. I decided I'm going to start a log of all the strange new animal signs I encountered. I really should have started it when I was passing through the Pinacate Desert. There were signs for everything from lizards to hawks. But we'll start here with the Fox.
The drive from Mazatlan to Durango was pretty spectacular. The new highway is an absolutely impressive feat of engineering. It alternates between punching straight through the mountain and flying over the gorges across giant bridges. And while the tunnels probably are a bit harsh for the claustrophobic, the bridges provide amazing vantage points from which to view the scenery. Unfortunately, that scenery is almost never directly ahead, so I found myself turning my head to the side quite a bit more than I probably should have. Oh, and this bridge I'm driving over right now just happens to be the highest bridge in all of the Americas. There's nothing beneath the bridge deck for 1,300 feet. I'm kind of glad I didn't know about that while I was driving over it, honestly. Anyway, that's it for this time. If you have any comments, suggestions, anything you'd like to see more of or less of, please feel free to let me know. I'll see you guys soon.
What the fox say?